Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 1st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Garfield Day. Happy Monday. Hopefully, you got that lasagna today. As for me, I did. I even had to work on it. Happy Labor Day. I guess I got to throw that up there too. But hey, we got some extra money, some extra pay. So we love that. Also, the day was relatively easy, which we love, especially because usually Mondays are pretty hectic at my job. So, just I guess we can do a quick breakdown. Also, got to do a quick rewind too on Sunday, and I got to say, mea culpa. After I recorded the episode, I was like, I'm so tired, and that nap I was talking about, I'm gonna make it a reality. So I hit, I'm doing, some conversions on the episode, some inside baseball stuff, yada, yada, yada. But I go to lay down and I'm like, surely I'll wake up within an hour or two. This thing will be more than ready and I'll continue on uploading. I wake up and mind you, I had the lights on, I had everything on, and I wake up and it's like midnight, past midnight, and I'm like, what happened? What? Hey, oh no. And immediately got up and understood that I overslept my nap. So that wasn't good. But hey, overall, I got to make use of having to go in a little bit later. We went in an hour later. So, I got everything uploaded just a little bit late. So sorry about that. Hung out for the night, went to bed around 3 or 4 ish, I think around 3 ish. And, was able to manage. So overall, felt pretty good, felt pretty alert, not too tired for the day. So we love that. But we got up, we got ready, went to work. Like I said, working on Labor Day. Luckily, it was a volunteer day. So essentially, we volunteered to work the 5 hours. So that means we got our holiday pay plus time and a half. So I was like, okay, so for the 5 hours. So I'll take that. We love to see it. I could definitely use the money, especially on a day that wasn't so busy. So we like that. We love that. Plus, I got donuts. So a little bit of a food corner here, real quick. I had a iced cinnamon roll, very yummy, very good. And then I believe it was like just a fried, like long donut. Like it wasn't like a bow tie, but I think it was fried. But yeah, very good, very yummy. I enjoyed it. It was good just to get some donuts in me. Let's see what else. Also, on the topic of food corner, I did do it a little different for Sunday. I added some refried bean and pineapple. Cooked the chicken with some pineapple in the air fryer. Gotta say that was a hit. That was better than the watermelon. I would definitely revisit the pineapple. Might actually do that again tonight. But yeah, very good, very yummy. Both of those things. So yeah, overall, work was solid. Got out at around 2. Then I went to the advanced auto parts or whatever, and I was in the market for a battery. Luckily, wait, not a car battery, so that's good. Don't worry, I'm okay. Car's okay. But I needed a battery for my key fob. It was going dead, and it was a little annoying to me. And I wanted to be able to do my little clicker thing. That's what that's what I pay for, right? So I was able to get a new battery for that. I will say I had a bit of annoyance getting it all put together. It was my first time doing it. So at one point, the battery like springs out of the key fob into the crevasse of my car, like in between the car seat and the panel or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm getting sweaty, and I'm digging around. I don't see it. It's such a little small thing, size of like a nickel. And I was able to find it. Had to go in the back seat, find it there. Okay, cool, whatever. Get it in, get it working, and I was very happy. I felt like once again, this is a dub. I got to reset my maintenance required light, and now I got my key fob, going again. I feel good. I feel very mechanic like. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, after that, we went to the gym. Gym went well, and I'm gonna take a quick aside here to do a bit of a gym report, update, whatever, because it's been a year. It's been a year since we have started our journey at Planet Fitness. So that felt like surreal for me a little bit. I mean, the gym in and of itself, it was a maintenance day. I was able to get on the Smith machine, get on, my free weights. Everything was good. Everything was irie. I think what really helped was the fact that it was a holiday, so people just really didn't show up. And I was like, hell yes. But yeah, this lines up with, when I signed up, and it felt good. I will say, in a way, and I know this is very annoying, because like it's very of the moment, and it's me like focusing on the wrong thing. It's me focusing on like the scale number and not where I'm at, the things that I've changed and whatnot. But it did feel a little bittersweet because I wanted to be at a smaller weight, and I clocked in at 196. So that means I have a grand total loss of, from a year since we started this, of about 67 pounds, which is still good. That's still impressive. I just have been hitting at like over, I was towards the lower 90s. So, we just had a really chubby weekend, had a little fatty weekend. But overall, I am very happy. I'm glad that I was able to stick to this regimen. I think I did about 361 days showing up. And granted, that's not something to aspire to. That's not something that I'm necessarily like, oh, I got to hit that again, plus more days. Like, no, I don't really need to. I just need to keep this consistency. I need to keep this tenacity. I'm glad that this year has taught me that I'm really capable of doing this. I'm really capable of showing up. I'm really capable of making it happen. And so that felt really good, felt really like, I don't know what the word is, affirming or whatever. I was very happy with myself. Took a couple of extra little gym pics. I don't know if I'm gonna post them because, like I said, I'm a little upset. I'm a little self-conscious of the fact that I, instead of losing even more weight since the last time I posted about this shit, that I gained a little bit. But once again, I know that is me focusing on the wrong thing. It is not about the number on the day. It is about the progress that you've made along the way. And I know that I've made a lot of progress, and I know that I'm going to continue to make a lot of progress. At least I hope and intend to, knock on the wood. But yeah, I am happy to report that in, and I guess just for the record, we'll say that today at the very least, that we made it a year on the planet. And I'm hoping to do more. Overall, do I love Planet Fitness? No. I see some kooky motherfuckers that I love talking about on the pod when I get the chance. The equipment's okay. It could definitely be better. There's definitely more ranges, and it sucks that I'd have to pay more money to go to other Planet Fitnesses to get that, and I'm just choosing not to do that. No, thank you. And to get a back massage, I'm okay. So yeah, I mean, but given the resources, I'm happy that I've been able to use them. And that I've gotten something out of it, and I'm really happy about that. I'm patting myself on the back about it. And overall, it's a dub. I look forward to reporting it again, hopefully around next year, and seeing how I feel, how I look. Hopefully it's better. That's the goal. That's the desire. That's what I'm driving for, I feel like, at this point. But I really am happy, though, that I have found like a workout regimen, a program that works for me, that I like to do, that I enjoy, showing up to do. And overall, a diet, obviously not the best diet, but a diet that I know that if I lock into and really like focus, I can make something happen. And I've made something happen, you know what I mean? Getting down to the weight that I am at right now from, where I was feels really good. So, even though I know I can be a little bit of a critique on myself, I am really stoked that I've made it happen this far. So, yay. Anyway, that is all I really wanted to yap about. I know I yapped a lot for a Monday episode, but so it goes. And I think we have a lot to talk about. But we got the newsy roll call. So let's go ahead and get to that. And then we'll do our startup and we'll get into some news. All right, start from the top. Stephanie Renee, Edward Haas, Mama Bear, Aaron Walden, Hoon Win, and, we got another, but, silent donation. I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone who is a newsie, who, takes that subscription, that support to a financial level, a fiscal level. It means a lot. It is helpful. One day I would like to use this stuff, more towards I don't know, podcast enhancement, but I will tell you that it has been useful in just a living sense, and not to put any pressure on it or anything, but it is a cool gesture nonetheless. That you show your appreciation that way. I really do appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Ooh. I did like the weather today. It was nice. It wasn't too cold. Like we had to start off the day in the 50s, got up to the 80s, so not too bad. I wish every summer day could be like that. I wouldn't complain about the summer, but sadly though. But for better or worse, I mean, this is the start of September. The way I start thinking is it might as well be autumn, that's what my mind wants, that's what my heart wants, and so that's what I like to manifest. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. I kind of want to be done with the fans and the sweating outside and stuff and sweating in my home, Anyway. All right. From the AFP, Afghanistan earthquake kills more than 800, flattens villages. Survivors of an earthquake that flattened villages in eastern Afghanistan, killing more than 800 people, spent the night in the open as rescuers worked Tuesday to pull victims from the rubble. A 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck just before midnight Sunday, with the worst destruction in the Kunar province, which borders Pakistan. Rescuers searched into the night to pull to safety those trapped under the debris of simple mud and stone homes built into steep valleys. The dead, some of them children, were wrapped in white shrouds by villagers who prayed over their bodies before burying them, while helicopters ferried the wounded to hospitals. I was really surprised because, normally when I hear 6.0s and things of that nature, they can be definitely very devastating. But to hear the number just hit so high and to see it be so devastating is definitely sad. But, I think it's just due to, the infrastructure that they mentioned. I think also there's always an aftermath when it comes to earthquakes, or an aftershock, if you will, in terms of the literal sense of there's going to be more damage to come from an earthquake, like more earthquakes. But then also the fact that there is less aid available, less means to really help the people who need the help the most. So, that definitely adds to things after the fact. Around 800 people were killed and 2,500 injured in Kunar alone, near the epicenter. Taliban government spokesperson Zabihullah Mujid, I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, said, "Many people are stuck under the rubble of their roofs." The disaster management head in Kunar province, Insula Isan, told AFP on Monday afternoon, warning that the death toll could rise. Another 12 people were killed and 255 injured in neighboring Nangarhar province, while 58 were injured in Langam province. So yeah, I mean, the United Nations, no, excuse me, the United Nations is, moving to do as much as it can. But, by the other side of that coin, you have the U.S. who has just pulled out as much funding as they can, especially, since Trump has come into power. So I don't think you're going to see as robust of help coming out of the, coming out of America, coming out of the U.S. In this situation and probably in others in the future. I feel like that's worth noting. But an initial $5 million have been released from the UN's Global Emergency Response Fund. That is good to note. But yeah, we'll be back, I imagine, to talk about this if any big developments happen, any big aftershocks happen. But I wanted to start off with that story. The next couple stories are actually protest related in different countries, so I wanted to run down those. They're from last week. From CNN, Indonesia's president cancels China trip, and TikTok suspends live video as deadly protests continue. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto on Saturday canceled a planned trip to China as days of protests spread further outside the capital, Jakarta, with several regional parliament buildings set ablaze. Peterborough, I'm totally going to keep fucking that up, had been due to attend a Victory Day parade in China on September 3rd to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II following Japan's formal surrender. The protest, the first major test of Peterborough's nearly year-old government, began in Jakarta this week over lawmakers' pay and worsened after a police vehicle hit and killed a motorcycle rider. Now, I had heard today that I believe the president came out and said this, and this was me listening to the BBC on the way to work, that like a lot has been said about how it's crazy to see how much money politicians, how much money lawmakers are making, all the perks and stuff they're getting while people are struggling to make ends meet. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, this isn't fathomable. And so the president has been making concessions in that way, saying he's going to do that. But then it's a dual thing of he's saying, I'm going to do that, but also we're going to make, like, I'm authorizing the police to use, like, I believe, like, lethal force, to combat any kind of, wrongdoing coming out of these protests. So, like, any vandalism, destruction of property, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, like, saying, I'm going to do a heavy hand on this. So I'm like, I kind of just wish you had said the first half of this. Like, it's pretty obvious that, how your people are moving, how your law enforcement is moving. So to say, no, we're going to deal with this with the iron hand. This can't keep happening. I mean, that to me seems very excessive. But that was just what I was hearing as of like today. So I was like, okay, I guess it's moving along. It's progressing. At least, you're hearing some demands somewhat met. But once again, it's measured with like violence from law enforcement. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. That's unsettling to me. The president wants to continue monitoring the situation in Indonesia directly and seek the best solutions. Presidential spokesperson Prasetyo Hadi said in a video statement on Saturday. Fast forwarding a bit. In light of the protests, short video app TikTok, which is owned by China's ByteDance, said on Saturday it had suspended its live feature in Indonesia for a few days. Which I feel like that's fucked up because I'm sure it's something that people are using to, film what's going on in Indonesia and really talk about it. And to say, oh, well, we're going to suspend that live footage so that you can't use it for anything, for that, whatever. I think that's kind of fucked up. And I think that's more to just, help the government? Like, I don't know. Excuse me. Probably at least in their defense or whatever, in their minds, to be like, well, we're covering our ass legally to make sure that we don't have to cover anything problematic or bad. But I don't know. Let's see here. Outside of just the initial thing of the motorcyclist who was killed, 3 people were killed on Friday in an arson attack on a parliament building in Makassar, the capital of South Sulawesi province, Indonesia's disaster management agency said. State news agency Antara said the victims had been trapped in the burning building, and the disaster management agency said 2 people were injured after jumping out of the building to escape the fire. So I imagine that is why he has that kind of sharp rhetoric when he's talking about, like, the police doing this. It's like, well, you guys are doing these arsons and doing, like I said, all this destruction of stuff. Like, this is getting out of hand, and I'm going to do something about it. And it's like, I mean, okay, but I think if you just answer the problems and deal with these lawmakers who are making an inaccessible amount, or I don't know, balancing the scales so people who, can make a living, make that more, accessible, then, I don't know, maybe these things don't happen. But I don't know. It just seems very cause and effect to me. I don't know. Not that I am advocating for that shit. Let's see here. What else did I really want to pull? No, that's kind of it. I mean, obviously there's details. But we're going to move on, though, to our next protest. Got one coming out of Mexico. I'll take a quick water break, but this is out of the BBC. Oh. Ooh la la. All right. Gringos out. Mexicans protest against tourists and gentrification. The timing of the first of several recent anti-gentrification protests in Mexico City was no coincidence. 4th of July, U.S. Independence Day. Demonstrators gathered in Park, Mexico, in Carniza district, the epicenter of gentrification in the Mexican capital, to protest over a range of grievances. Most were angry at the exorbitant rent hikes, unregulated holiday lettings, and the endless influx of Americans and Europeans into the city's trendy neighborhoods like I'm sure I'm getting this wrong, Condesa, Roma, and La Juarez, forcing out long-term residents. In Condesa alone, estimates suggest that as many as 1 in 5 homes is now a short-term let or a tourist dwelling. Others cited more prosaic changes, like restaurant menus in English or milder hot sauces at the taco stands to cater to for foreign sensitive palates. Which I mean, that's a lesser thing. Obviously, that's a cultural annoyance, or you could say that's like it's abhorrent, whatever. But like more of the fact that people are getting pushed out of the homes that they live in for people to just come through and visit, or for landlords from another fucking country to make a fucking buck. Like that's more of my issue. That is more of my draw here, personally. But I get it. That's fucked up. Like what? And not to mention, why would you come to a place and complain about how spicy a thing is? I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I would be heated about that. Let's see. But as it moved through the gentrified streets, the initially peaceful protests turned ugly. Radical demonstrators attacked coffee shops and boutique stores aimed at tourists, smashing windows, intimidating customers, spraying graffiti, and chanting "Fuera Gringo," meaning "Gringos out." At her next daily press conference, President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the violence as xenophobic. No matter how legitimate the cause, as the case is with gentrification, the demand cannot be to simply say "get out" to people of other nationalities in our country, she said. And now look, I would love to like 100% just agree with Scheinbaum here. Because normally I'm like, yeah, you should not treat people who are coming from another country like that and be like, oh, yeah, this is all your fault. All our problems are on you. And I would definitely say, yes, the people that you're yelling at in the moment, these tourists, whatever, these are all part of a systematic issue that needs to be fucking attended to. But that being said, this isn't the same kind of xenophobia. Like, these are people who you're seeing, like, no, like, you're coming here and my rent is now too high. You're coming here and now the restaurant I, used to go to is completely different. It's completely warped. You guys are coming here and now I don't have a home anymore. And like my old home that I had is now being completely bulldozed and now renovated and changed into a fucking like luxury fucking condo situation. And you're watching that happen day after day after day after day. So this is a different thing to me. It's just not the same. But once again, should you be yelling at these people saying, it's all your fault and fucking up shit? No, that's not going to change anything. That's not going to help anything. But these problems do need to be addressed. And instead of saying, violence isn't the answer, but then you're not really going to attack the problem that is causing, the ills of people. So, that's definitely something that's on Scheinbaum to really attack and really fix. Let's see here. What else did I really want to pull? I kind of just wanted to summarize it, and I feel like I did. But yeah, I mean, we will see how these protests go. If they are just, excuse me, I'm sorry. Are they an of the moment thing, or are they going to, keep, conspiring, keep, happening, keep getting more intense? I don't know. I guess I did want to read this part here. Claudia Scheinbaum's critics say she failed to meaningfully tackle the issue when she was the capital's mayor and, in fact, actively entice foreigners to resettle in Mexico City by signing a partnership agreement with Airbnb to boost tourism and digital nomadism in 2022. Erica points the finger of blame at a range of people for families of people. And that was kind of the story I was mentioning of the person who's like, yeah, my whole family lost their home. And now I'm watching it just pretty much be made into something completely different. And I'm on my own. Like we're left to our own devices to try to figure it out in a situation where we just don't have any money, and the rent everywhere is just going up and up and up and up and up. Which, I mean, hey, that is a familiar situation. I feel like that is definitely something that is happening in America. It's happening all over the world, which is really fucked. Let's see here. The building's former owners for selling to a real estate development company, the city's government for not protecting long-term residents, even the tenants themselves for failing to act sooner over creeping gentrification taking place all around them. But yeah, she's also aware that it's like, hey, I'm not necessarily mad at foreigners because they yes, they're part of the problem, but if I was in their position, I would be tempted to make the same kind of decisions. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, this is a place to live for cheaper from where you're at. So you just take your money and you send it down here, you move it here, and things just work out better for you. Like, I get making that move, but at the same time, you're also a victim of that, So that fucking sucks. That fucking hurts. And you want to see something change, and your government should be there on your side to make that happen instead of, facilitating it, making it happen faster. So once again, I can understand the anger of the people on this one. And yeah, I get it. I get gringos out on that shit. But yeah, I mean, this kind of goes into my ongoing motif of like, why I don't really like traveling. Why I don't really want to be that guy. Y'all remember? I know y'all remember the story with the fucking spraying the water bottles. Oh hell no, I would not. That would not be me. No, thank you. Anyway, let's go ahead and take it to the States. We're going to Colorado. We're bouncing all around. From people. Colorado coroner to resign after inspectors find 20 decomposing bodies hidden under funeral. Bodies hidden behind funeral home door. This is a bit of a doozy. After officials found the decomposing bodies of around 20 people hidden in a Colorado funeral home, the coroner has decided to resign. Good idea. Earlier this month, authorities uncovered the remains at Davis Mortuary in Pueblo, Colorado, during the funeral home's first ever inspection, despite co-owner Brian Cotter's apparent efforts to thwart them. Following the findings of an August 20th inspection, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, revoked Cotter's business license. I cannot talk. According to CBS News, Cotter, who co-owns the mortuary with his brother, was then hospitalized for a cardiac event, he said in a statement released via his attorney. The coroner, who has since been discharged from the hospital, will submit his official resignation soon, according to the statement. It will be effective Tuesday, September 2nd, and Cotter will provide his own written statement with his signature when he is able, as soon as possible. In the same statement, Cotter's attorney said the owner acted swiftly to prioritize the concerns of the public as it relates to his position as coroner, according to CBS. The attorney didn't respond to people. I don't really care about that. Let's see. News of the disgraced coroner's plans to resign comes after Colorado Governor Jared Polis called for his resignation in an official statement issued by his office on Friday, August 22nd. I'm going to skip that quote here. The CBI first announced that the remains have been uncovered at Davis Mortuary in a release on August 21st. During the inspection, authorities reported finding several bodies in various stages of decomposition, investigators said. The appointed designee. I don't know what designee. That's not a word. The appointed designee for the funeral home, Brian Cotter, told inspectors that some of the bodies had been awaiting cremation for approximately 15 years, the CBI continued. He also admitted that he may have given next of kin fake remains. He might have done that. He just maybe did that. Maybe. Allegedly. Like, what the fuck? Inspectors found around 20 or so bodies. Officials later said in a press conference shared by the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office, or PCSO, on Facebook. The bodies were allegedly found behind a door after Cotter told the inspectors not to go inside a room that had been covered by a cardboard display, according to the CBS. Upon removing the cardboard display, Mr. Cotter asked the inspectors not to enter the room behind the previously hidden door. A spokesperson told CBS News. I'm sorry, that is some shit out of a video game, out of a movie. Like, no, don't go in there, please. And it's like, brother, we're here to inspect you. That's literally what we have to do. And you're telling us not to go in. We literally have to go in there. And it's just a horror show. It's just a Resident Evil fucking biohazard in there. And then this motherfucker has the audacity to be like, oh, my heart, oh no. Like, I'm sorry. And, I shouldn't attack the wounded here or whatever. But this dude this is crazy to me. And I have to wait before I cast any fucking judgment, right, from my shitty little armchair. But, like, is there any kind of notice of like he's overwhelmed here? Because we've covered, sadly, grimly, we've covered stories like this before of funeral homes or, you know, what have you, that are overwhelmed, understaffed. They don't have the means to take on the load that they have accepted. And I'm not giving them a pass or anything like that, but you can at least say like, okay, like they just got in over their fucking heads and, you know, they didn't tell anyone about it. Is this a similar situation in that regard? Not that I'm giving this guy a pass. It still seems morbid and fucked. But like, if I'm not hearing that here, it seems like you have all the means and resources. Are you just being a lazy fuck? Like, do you get off on this shit? Like, what's going on? I have so many questions. Man. Because, like I said, each and every time we come to this and it gets like this and you see this and there's dead bodies everywhere, like, that's fucked, man. Because at the end of the day, bullshit aside, like, that's someone's family member, you know? And then especially here that you got fake fucking remains, dog. Like, that's, like, you were passing out fake fucking remains, Mr. Carter. I'm not doing an accent here. Cutter. It's Cotter. I just don't like that name. But yeah, like, it's fucked, man. This dude's fucked. At least at this juncture, I feel like this is not a good guy. I feel like I'm putting him in Tomato Town. I don't know. Call me crazy, and you know the jury hasn't, you know, really deliberated on this yet. I guess I gotta see more details. But what the fuck, man? Why you got 20 bodies in your hidden room? Don't go in there. Don't do it now. It's just my old guy accent, by the way. I don't have any other ones right now. The Cotter name fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, that's it. That's really all I have for today. That's going to be the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. You know, get on that roll call for next time. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Let's see. Freeways, hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you like to listen, I should be there. I should be available for your listening pleasure. Let's see. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. I always appreciate that. It is very nice. It is very appreciated. Let's see. But I just appreciate you listening. It's always cool. So, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.